on YouTube? This is Nazarachi here, coming at you with another small update to Final Fantasy Record Keeper. Yesterday, in the global North American version of the game, the Final Fantasy XII event, the Blood Reign, was launched. And as well, it came with its Banner 1 Relic draw, which we're going to go over here today. And a couple other little news updates that aren't too new, but the Nightmare Dungeons are now permanently open. The Omega Drive Final Nightmare record was released. It's a combat record, and you should be able to kind of pillage through these now at any time to get some crystals and some 6-star abilities if you're good enough. As well, Double Gishel Greens is still going on, and a new Final Fantasy XII oriented Conquest multiplayer raid dungeon was released. It is 80 and 120 difficulty, so anyone should be able to just have at it and get you some free stuff. So hitting the Relic banner, we have some decent items. Starting off, your first one is going to be for Balthier. It is the Arcturus Overstrike gun. Interestingly enough, it has no non-synergy bonus effects, but it does add a small boost to fire if you are in a Final Fantasy XII event. It has 152 attack, and it has the Overstrike S85 Cyclotron. Deal massive range physical fire and non-elemental damage to one target. Can break the damage cap. This is a very average piece of Overstrike equipment. It is brought down significantly by the fact it doesn't have any bonus effects other than the synergy, and it's brought up by the fact that it is a ranged weapon. There aren't too many decent ranged weapons, but this one is fairly average in terms of Overstrike equipment goes. Now you do have about a 1.0% chance to roll this item in your draws. Moving forward, we have the Burst Soul Break Shining Ray. It's a Holy Lance for Bosch. It does have a constant bonus effect, no synergy required, boost to holy damage, just a small boost, but it helps. 133 attack, and your Burst Soul Break is the Shining Ray. Deals 6 range physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to all targets. Temporarily infuse the user with the power of Holy Light, and get your haste and burst mode on the user. The burst abilities are Blade of Doom. Deal 4 physical holy attacks to one target. Deals 5 attacks if the target has a slight weakness or is vulnerable to holy. And the second ability, Beacon of Light, deal 2 physical, holy, and non-elemental attacks to all targets and temporarily counter physical attacks. This second ability is really the most standout one of the whole item. You can combo this second ability with the Gaia's Cross Knight 5-star ability, and you can set yourself up to be a mandatory physical attack target with counter on every hit, temporarily. So that's pretty useful, and honestly is probably the best part of this item. Overall, it is just kind of a fairly average Burst Soul Break, but it does stand out in situations where enemies are weak to holy for sure. Now, your percent chance to draw this item is 1.18%, roughly. Moving forward, we have the Burst Soul Break Gaze of the Void, the Perseus Bow. In my opinion, this is one of the 2 best items you could possibly get out of this draw, and in general, it is a very good soul break. So you got 119 attack, 26 magic, 26 mind, so a little bit of stats going on all over the place. No bonus effects or synergies, but the Burst Soul Break is really what makes this relic. So deal 5 range physical attacks to all targets, and temporarily lower their attack, defense, magic, resistance, and mind a moderate amount, and grant haste and burst mode to the user. So this is an AoE pentabreak. That is, in and of itself, that is very good, and it will stack with other break abilities. Now the burst abilities, Gleaming Wormfang, deal 2 range physical attacks to one target and temporarily lower its attack a large amount, and Paling Breaker, deal 2 range physical attacks to one target and temporarily lower its resistance a large amount. They combo very well with the pentabreak itself and add some additional breaks. So overall, this is a very good support item and has great break potential. It also has the lowest percent chance out of all the other items you could possibly get in this relic draw, and it's hanging right around a 1.04% chance to roll this item, which is even less than the Overstrike relic. In my personal opinion, this is the best offensive relic in this draw. Very good. Next item is Super Soul Break Manufactured Marvel, the Staff of the Magi. It's for Larsa. has a constant effect of adding a boost to holy damage, a small boost. 55 attack, 100 magic, 132 mind. So it does have some red mage qualities, but leans towards being a healer item. Super Soul Break Manufactured Marvel, grant all allies protect, shell, and a barrier that negates attack damage up to 30% of their max HP. This is the best healing or white magic item that you could possibly get in this Relic banner, and this is a very good Super Soul Break. Definitely above average, something you can definitely lead a battle with using Mako Might or the Tiro Record materia that allows you to start battle with the Soul Break straight out the gate. This will also allow you to free up some ability slots and not have to necessarily bring Protectica and Shelga on characters. So again, this is a very good above average Super Soul Break healing item and will definitely be usable outside of just Final Fantasy XII Synergy. Your percent chance of drawing this is about 2.33%, so higher than most of the other items in the draw so far, and a very good item. Next item is Super Soul Break Armor for Balthier, the Heart of Gold. 17 attack, 113 defense and resistance, so that's pretty standard with 5-star Relic light armor that we've been getting in banners recently. Nothing out of the ordinary on the stats. The bonus effect adds a small boost to fire damage constantly, no synergy required, which is actually better than his Overstrike bonus effect, which is a synergy required boost. Super Soul Break Inferno, deal 5 ranged physical and non-elemental attacks to all targets, and temporarily infuse the user with the power of fire. This Super Soul Break is really only above average if you are in a situation where enemies are weak to fire. Other than that, it is nothing really special or standoutish. His Overstrike is a little better, but you would want to get this as well to get the boost to fire damage as much so as possible. Your percent chance to draw this item is around 2.22%. Super Soul Break Ruin Impendant, the Defender Sword for Bosch. So we get another item for him, another weapon specifically, but this is just a Super Soul Break with no bonus effects. 128 attack. Ruin Impendant, deal 6 ranged physical attacks to one target and enable each ally to avoid one physical attack. This is kind of just an average Blink Super Soul Break. They do have their niche uses when you're in boss fights, like the Omega fight Nightmare, for example, where all of his attacks ignore any resistances or walls or shells, protects that you have on your team. They're all irrelevant, so you'll want to bring this Blink ability instead to deal with situations like that. So it does have its niche uses, but overall it's just kind of an average Super Soul Break, nowhere near as good as that white magic one. Your percent chance to draw that item, Defender Sword, is about 1.97%. So your next Super Soul Break, the Holy Rod. It's a small boost to holy damage, no synergy required for Pinello here. This is another staff that leans towards white magic, but has some red mage functionality as well. Attack 55, magic 100, mind 123. Your Intercession Super Soul Break, deal 3 white magic holy attacks to one target and restore a large amount of HP to the party. This is a decent Super Soul Break for synergy, but outside of that, it is not one of the better white magic Super Soul Breaks. Only targets one enemy, but the restore a large amount of HP to the party has its usefulness, mostly in boss fights. Again, this is not a great item, but it does have some benefits for synergy, or for a white mage. Your percent chance to draw this staff is about 1.18%. So Gobran's Halberd is heavy armor, 17 attack, 132 defense, and 91 resistance. So you do lose a little bit of resistance for a pretty substantial boost to defense with it being heavy armor. You also have minor dark resistance constant effect with no synergy required. The unique Soul Break and Rage deal 6 physical dark attacks to one target and temporarily infuse the user with the power of the dark. This is something decent to have for Gabranth if you use him, but it is just a unique Soul Break, nothing really out of the ordinary whatsoever. And you have about a 1.79% chance to draw this. So next you have the Platinum Shield. It's a unique Soul Break for Bosch, and has a constant boost to holy damage with no synergy required. Attack 17, Defense 127, Resistance 83. So this item as well takes a hit to resistance, and it doesn't provide quite as much defense as Gabranth's armor, but it does have boosted defense to cover that. Temporarily raise the party's attack a moderate amount and defense a small amount. Unique Soul Break. This is a decent unique Soul Break, but it's not anywhere near as good as Shout. It doesn't have the Haystega effect, which is really clutch in terms of boss fights, but it is usable if you happen to get it. Not what you really want from this draw, but about a 1.18% chance to get that. And that is all the relics, you guys, at least for this banner. I do want to highlight the other two Nightmare banners really quick. The Select Nightmare Relic draw is full of mostly old items. I wouldn't recommend really spending resources on this draw at all, really. Although the staff for Aerith is useful here. Right there, the Wizard Staff is a pretty decent item. The Apocalypse Sword as well is fairly decent for Zack. And the Crescent Wish is alright as well as a healing blink item. But all in all, these items are kind of dated. This Mace of Zeus is alright as well if you're using Lena as your healer. But like I said, all in all, these items are fairly old and none of them are terribly useful. So with the anniversary banners coming up, I wouldn't really recommend going too hard on this banner right here. Anything outside of the 100 gem draw, I probably wouldn't do, which is what I did. I did a 100 gem draw on that, didn't really get anything. The next banner is the Nightmare Relic draw itself. This banner is a little bit more useful. It contains tons of 6-star Overstrike equipment. I did the 100 gem draw on it, and I did get Edgar's Overstrike Bioblaster, which was pretty neat off a 100 gem draw. It had kind of been a while since I'd gotten anything, so that was a cool thing to get. This draw can be worth some of your resources, but again, with the anniversary banners going on, I probably wouldn't spend too much on this one. Again, I only did the 100 gem draw, and as well I did a 3 draw on this one, and came out with Edgar's Overstrike piece of equipment off the 100 gem draw. But I wouldn't recommend really spending any more than that on this. They're not half-price draws, so they're really nothing to go crazy for. Again, I would recommend waiting until the anniversary and the Ultros banners that are hopefully coming up here soon next month. So that's pretty much it with all the new stuff, you guys. The anniversary banners are coming up soon, so keep that in mind as you go forward in your Final Fantasy Record Keeper dealings. I hope that y'all liked this video. If you did, feel free to throw a thumbs up and sub to my channel. We'll definitely be covering more future Final Fantasy Record Keeper material, as well as some other games. I did do some live streams of Ghost Recon, and I'm also interested in the new Mass Effect game and Horizon Zero Dawn that are coming out. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have a great day. Keep in touch, and I'll have some new content coming for y'all fairly regularly. I hope y'all enjoy your evening, and I'll catch you next time. Later, y'all.